Nothing new to Ishe Smith.
No, and for Thompson, one of the things that he's going to have to deal with, besides a very solid fighter, in my estimation, in Ishe Smith, 8.5 months of inactivity for Thompson, and taking the fight on quick notice. Took the fight about a week ago.
Got the call last week. 3.5-year pro. He is wearing the red trim, white trunks. Ishe Smith in the black with the green writing. First fight since the contender for Ishe Smith. First fight in over a year, the longest layoff of his career.
Smith has beaten the level of fighters that Thompson has lost to. Therefore, Smith, obviously the favorite.
Admitted to us that he is worried about the ring rust. Trying to shake it off early here in round one, coming forward behind the jab.
Talk about that 8.5 months activity for Thompson. His condition much better than that last fight. At least the scales would indicate it. He's 14 pounds less tonight than he was in his last fight 8.5 months ago. One of the things you see Smith doing, jumping in there, leading with left hooks, but keeping that left hand very low.
Hovering around the waistline, off that jab from there, and he catches Thompson that time with it.
Now that can hurt you in two ways. Smith in the black trunks keeping that left hand so low around the hip. Right now it's not hurting him at all because Thompson offering no offense.
And a good left hand finishes up that combination from Ishe, and he goes with a double left hook.
The way it can hurt you is offensively and defensively, keeping your hand low like that the way Smith is. Offensively, you have to pick it up into the punching chamber. You give your opponent a warning before you throw it. You telegraph the punch. Defensively, obviously, it's not there to block. Right now, no problem for Smith with a very defensive-minded Thompson.
Got to get an idea even this early on why it was that Thompson survived 10 rounds rather than going out there and being competitive for 10 rounds against other prospects. Last 30 seconds of this first round coming off. Smith, we told you in the first minute, worried about the ring rust. Well, clearly able to shake it off against Thompson, who's posing no threat early on. Tries to go with the right hand back over the top. The return of Ishe Smith here on Wednesday Night Fights, presented by Just for Men Hair Color. You will not want to miss that. Round number 2 between Ishe Smith and Patrick Thompson.
In the corner with Ishe Smith is John David Jackson, in charge of his training, former junior middleweight champion of the world, and a very smart fighter.
And he's going to play a big role in a lot of things happening this week because he is training Bernard Hopkins for that fight against Antonio Tarver. They held training camp, Teddy, down in New Orleans. Smith slips after connecting with the left hand and then flying free with another one that missed. Interesting that they took training camp to New Orleans, and it really boosted some morale in the city that's been through so much. In fact, it was a real eye-opening experience for Ishe Smith. He said that the things that people went through down there to see it up close, it makes him realize a lot of things about his own life, how good he has it.
You know, when you watch Smith, you can pick up immediately what his preference of style is and what his mentality is. He likes to counter. You know, he'll carefully lead with that low left hand if you're laying back on him to keep you honest, to set up punches. But really his desire is to give a little ground and get his opponent to lead where he can counter. You can see that is where Smith wants to shine. You can see even a little bit of the patience, a little bit of the waiting on Smith right now, trying to get a little bit of a lead from Thompson, a little bit of a mistake from Thompson, where he can capitalize on the back end as he steps back and tries to set up a counter.
Comes with the right hand there. Few opportunities from Thompson. There was one right there as he timed in between the punches.
What Smith will do sometimes is throw a jab out there as a decoy just to draw something from Thompson. Then he'll rotate his shoulders to his right and come back right away with a counter right hand left hook. The rotation of the shoulders is to allow the punches from Thompson to go miss, to go by without harm.
Thompson a little more aggressive, and it creates an opportunity for Smith. Thompson now comes in with a right hand and an uppercut on the inside, which scores.
But there is a flaw in the makeup of Smith so far tonight. It is that he will go back on a straight line. He'll go back and try to draw you in, Joe, to counter, but he will go back on a straight line.
Something to look for. We'll see if Patrick Thompson has picked up on that. Coming to the end of round number 2, scheduled for 10. Hair color, Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas with you ringside at the Borgata in Atlantic City. Ishe Smith, the return of one of the participants from the Contender Season 1 in the black trunks with green trim. Only one loss in his career, a split decision to the eventual Contender champion, Sergio Mora. Now, after a year layoff, getting back to work, feeling really good in his career and where things are headed. Passing.
Not too many fighters come from the part of the country where Thompson originally comes from, Nebraska. A lot of football players.
No doubt about it.
A lot of linemen.
Throw them like they throw the corn out there. But you don't see many pro boxers making our air. Patrick Thompson got a call last week saying, you want to be on Friday Night Fights? First thing he said to me when he came to our meetings yesterday to sit with us was, I watch the show every week. This is a dream come true to be on Friday Night Fights. And here he shows up on Wednesday Night Fights and trying to make the most of it against Ishe Smith.
You can see one of the reasons why Thompson, who's trying to step it up a little bit offensively, is a little concerned about leading, because what we touched on in the earlier rounds, Ishe Smith is always looking to give up a little ground just so he can create an opportunity to take advantage of your lead. Smith always looking to counter.
Punch track numbers updated with the headshots, and you can see Smith throwing 109, working with that jab, shotgunning it off the hip, landing 32 headshots. Comes with a 1-2 there.
See, where Thompson is missing the opportunity, missing the boat a little bit right now, is when that left hand is down around the hip of Smith. He's allowing him to get it up into that punching position, that punching chamber, up around his shoulder before he throws it. When he sees it low, Thompson should step in, use that right hand before Smith has an opportunity to get it up, to defend himself or to throw.
Now on the inside, tries to put the left hand to the body.
Again, you see that low left hand of Smith's.
And you see no right hand coming from Thompson.
Now that's an opportunity where you would want to see Thompson or his corner explain to him to step up into that front door a little bit before that left hand is up in position to give him any problems. And as you just suggested, let the right hand go.
End of round number 3.